Our math warm-up today is fraction of problems. So this should be a review from several lessons ago. And we always come back and kind of refresh your memory with some former lessons. So let's take a look. 1/2 of 8. Go ahead and pause your video, write your answer. And let's say you should have gotten 4 for that one. And let's look at number 2, 1/4 of 20. Go ahead, pause your video. And you should have gotten 5 for 1/4 of 20. And let's take a look at number 3. We have 1/4 of 12. Go ahead and pause your video. And you should have gotten 3 for number 3. And number 4, 1/4 of 5. This one does not divide evenly, so let's think. What did we need to do for that? Pause your video if you need to. So 1/4 of 5 would be the same as 5 divided by 4, or 5/4, which is also known as 1 1/4. And there you have our warm-up. Our math message today is going to require you to go ahead and open up your math workbook, and you're going to get that out and opened to page 127. So just to kind of remind you what page that is. And you should have the map that you see here on the screen. And what I would like for you to do is pause your video and see if you can find the city of Tralee. So this map is actually a map of an island in Ireland. And I'm hoping that you were able to locate the city of Tralee, but let's think about some things. How were you able to do it? Did you use the names that were up here at the top and look for Tralee, or did you go straight to the map and try to find it that way? So if you noticed, up here at the top, we have a letter and a number for the city of Tralee. So if you took a look at the map very carefully, you might have noticed that there are some letters going along the top, and there are numbers going along the side, and then we also have letters at the bottom. So if we were able to find the letter B, which happens to be here, and then find the number 2, which happens to be here, if we look to see kind of where those 2 points meet or intersect, we're able to find the city of Tralee. So we have what is called letter number pairs. And you see many of those at the top of your page. So we've got several cities listed there. And what you are going to try to do on your own is find the letter number pairs for the cities that they did not fill in. So down here at the end, we have Westport and a city called Wicklow. So you'll need to go ahead and complete those letter number pairs once you find that particular city. So you can pause your video and do that now. Okay, so let's take a look at how you did. When I looked for Westport on the map, I found it right here. And if I look for the letter at the bottom, that would be B. And notice that there's a line right here, and then we go up to 6. So it's kind of between halfway between 5 and 6, which is why I put B 5.5 or 5 5/10. And then Wicklow is over here on the right side. If we go to F and go to 4, we have Wicklow. So there you have those two locations, and you might have guessed that we are going to be using some kind of identification with coordinates today. So our lesson today is Introduction to the Coordinate System. You might be wondering, why do we need to know about coordinates, or what is a system, or what is this all about? How do I go about this? So coordinates and coordinate systems are a means of locating certain places by pinpointing an area that they are in. So if I asked you to take a look at the number line that we have right here, and I asked you, tell me where point A is located. And you would probably say to me, oh, well, point A is located at number 8. And if I asked you, well, where is point B? Again, you're going to look at the number line, you're going to find where B is located, and then you're probably going to look down here and say, oh, it's located at 3. And then I said, where is point C? And again, you're going to look at the number line and you're going to tell me it's located at 6. So I could continue to ask you questions about different points located on this number line. And we could continue to ask question after question. For example, if I labeled D and put it at number 5, you would tell me number 5. If I asked you any other number on that number line, could we use it to locate that number? Your answer should be yes, because the number line goes on forever and ever in both directions. So what happens if I place point D here? What would you say when I ask, where is point D located? You might tell me that point D is located above number 4, or it's a little bit like a 1/2 of an inch or a 1/4 of an inch above number 4. But what if I told you that there is another way that we can locate any point in a 2-dimensional space, even a point that's not on the number line, by drawing 2 number lines that are perpendicular or at right angles? You might be wondering what in the world I'm talking about. So let's have a look. Here on this screen, we have a diagram, or what's called a coordinate grid. And as you can see, it has numbers on one side and the bottom, and we have little tiny squares all inside. We've got a line here that goes on in both directions, and we have a line here that goes on in both directions. Those lines intersect at one point, which is 0. If we were to place points on this grid, I could locate certain points just by naming what is called an ordered pair. So if I gave you this point and asked you to tell me where is it located, you would look across the x-axis, which is that bottom line, and you would find that particular point. So we find it at point 11, and then we go across to find where it intersects with the next line. So that particular point, we go over to 11 and we go up 5. And so our ordered pair would be 11, comma, 5. And this is how we would write that. So that is what we call an ordered pair. And for some reason, when I brought this presentation over, it cut off my letters. So they look kind of funky. This should be coordinate grid, intersect, axis, coordinates, and there we have plotting. So we're going to ignore all of this right there. So the diagram itself is called a coordinate grid. We have several different lines going horizontally and vertically on this grid, and that's why we say that they intersect, because they form a right angle. And on every coordinate grid, we have what's called an x-axis, which is this bottom section right here. And we also have a y-axis, which is the one that goes vertically. So horizontal is x, vertical is y. So let's practice some coordinates. So I showed you the first coordinate, which I colored in with the black. So now we're going to look at the blue. So what would we say the ordered pair for this blue dot would be? Well, we're first going to go over and find where that blue dot is, which is 8. And then we're going to travel all the way up here and 12. So if I were going to write my coordinates or my ordered pair, I would write 8, comma, 12. If we look at the blue, we would label that 8, comma, 12. So now let's move to the green. Green is located here. So I'm going to go over 4, up 8. So what's my ordered pair? 4, comma, 8. Let's take a look at the red one. Right here, we're going to go over 2, up 2. What's my ordered pair? 2, comma, 2. So we always list the first digit is the number on the x-axis, and the second digit is the number for the y-axis. Making sure that you place a comma in between is very important, so you need to remember to do that. And next we will move on to the game that's going to help you practice this. So the game that you're going to play that helps you with your coordinate grids is called over and up squares. And you'll notice on the left side I have a coordinate grid. And this is just a bigger version of what's located here on the game sheet itself. And this is a 2-player game. So you will need 2 dice. And over here on the right I have directions. So number 1, we're going to roll 2 dice. So you get to decide what order you want your ordered pair to be in. So let's say that I roll a 2 and a 3. If I roll a 2 and a 3, I get to decide, do I want the 2 to be first or the 3 to be first? So let's just say that I'm going to make it 2, comma, 3. You're then going to locate that coordinate on your coordinate grid. So you're going to plot it, is what we call that. So we're going to go over 2, up 3. So over 2, up 3, and we're going to place a dot. And you're going to want to use different colors. So you'll need to pick one color, and whomever you're playing the game with will need to pick another color. And I'm going to show you why here in a minute. So let's say that that was my first round. So you would put a 2 in the over and a 3 here. Now my score, since I'm the first one to go, is going to be 10 points because I only get a score for just the ordered pair because that's the only thing that's happened so far. So in that point or the score area, I'm going to place a 10. So now let's say that it's my partner's turn and they are going to roll the dice, and let's say they got a 4 and a 6. And they decided when they looked at the grid What could I do? Because what you're trying to do ultimately is put your points in locations where you can actually form a square. That's the ultimate goal, because notice when you look at the scoring area, you get 10 points for an ordered pair. You get 10 points if you make a line segment, which means you're going to connect two of your ordered pairs, or an ordered pair of yours and one of your partners. And then if you're able to put that last line segment to form a square, you get 50 points. So the objective for the game is to score the most points. So when I look at the fact that my partner rolled a 4 and a 6, I'm going to look at that coordinate grid and decide if I put my point at over 4 and up 6, is that going to help me make a square? Not really. If I do over 6 and up 4, either way, it's not going to really help me connect to what my partner did earlier. So in this instance, it doesn't really matter as of yet. So I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I'm going to go over 4, up 6, and I'm going to place my dot there. And then we're going to continue to take turns rolling the dice and connecting or forming squares and line segments. So let's say that the play has continued and my partner had to write theirs down. So let's make sure that we do that part. So they going to write a 4 here, a 6, and they scored a 10. And then it would be the blue person's turn. And let's say that they rolled a 2 and a 2. And there, you can't really change the order on that one, but they're going to record 2 here, 2 here. And if I go over 2, up 2, look what happens here. I can now connect those 2 points. And now the fact that I made an ordered pair and I connected a line segment, I get a total of 20 points. And then it's going to be green person's turn. And let's say that they rolled a 3 and a 1. And they're going to have to decide what order do they want to put that in. Well, if they go over 3 and up 1, that's going to put them here, which is not going to help connect to the line segment that I made earlier. If they go over 1 and up 3, look what happens. It's going to put them right there. So that is probably going to be the better choice for them. So if they place their dot here, they get to connect here. You see how this is going to start to pan out. So they went over 1 and up 3. So we're going to put that in the score sheet, 1, 3, and they got 20 points. So right now, score is tied. You would continue to play and connect dots and try to close in a square, because when you do that, that's going to give you the 50 points. So hopefully this game makes sense and you understand how to play. If not, you can always come back to the video. So let's summarize what we've done here today. We learned that a coordinate grid is a means of locating a specific point in a specific area. We also learned that ordered pairs are used to locate those points. We learned the first number in the pair represents the y-axis, which is horizontal, and the second represents the x-axis, which is vertical. And we also learned the point of intersection determines the exact location. Thanks for watching.